Ladies and gentlemen, this is WrestleRage from WrestleRage Radio, coming to you from the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Join myself and my co-host, Super Stan Grubb, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern as we present WrestleRage Radio, where we rant and rave on everything in the world of pro wrestling. Sometimes we'll have a guest. Sometimes it'll be just me and Stan BSing about the sport that we love, pro wrestling. Check us out. Tune in Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, only on the Beyond Ringside Network.
Oh, what's going on, folks? It's Sunday night. It's WrestleRage. We are live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
Hold it. Did you just call us WrestleRave?
No.
5 years we've been doing this. 5 years, and you just called the show WrestleRage.
WrestleRage.
Well, you got to remember. Wait. You
okay.
got Stan.
This is the product Smark Rage, better known as Juicy Rage, better known as the best ass in the wrestling podcast world.
I thought that would be the biggest ass.
Oh, the biggest.
Listen, Mr. Lane, I'm going to need you just to produce tonight. You and I have got heat, okay? Still interviews, coworkers.
Still using it
improperly.
No, he actually used it he used it right this time.
You just sit there, listen, and you produce the show. But folks, we're live on WrestleRage Radio at 9:30. We've got a legend in the wrestling business, Stan's longtime close personal friend, the Cue Ball Carmichael, will be on to talk about the Buddy Landell Memorial that's coming up this Saturday in North Carolina. We'll give you all those details at 9:30. And then at 10 o'clock, I think I still got an STD from this guy kissing me.
What?
Yeah,
you are so out there. First off, it's not sexually transmitted if it's a kiss, and if it was ass to mouth. I mean, wait, no, that's not the right line.
She won't even call you back. Okay? So you don't know if she goes ass to mouth. Okay? So we're at 10 o'clock, we're going to have the product, David Starr, formerly of Combat Zone Wrestling. Now he's up here wrestling for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment.
You mean down here?
His
up, down,
left, right, in, out. Going to be talking about his match this coming Sunday in Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. He is going against Jimmy Ray for the Georgia Wrestling Crown Champion. He's also going to talk about his 1 hour and 43 minute and 32 second match that he had with Jake Crisp, on Friday night. So we have got an action-packed WrestleRage Stan. It's nice to see you show up on time this week. Had a call time for 8:45. You didn't roll in till about 9:01. Glad to see you get here. Man, it's been a whirlwind of wrestling. It's weird. There was no Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment show today. So, I'm a little hyper, and I didn't know what to do in the afternoon after work. And, I had some free time on Sunday, so, before the show. So, it was weird. It was just me, myself, and I.
Pretty much a normal Friday night for SmartRage.
Don't be bitter because she won't call you back, and she's on vacation in Vancouver, Washington.
Hey, I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. My team is 8-0. What's your team? No, really.
3.
What's your team?
My team is Sticks and Balls. Whoa.
Twigs and Bigs.
Oh, you're talking about a football team. Okay. We're 6-3, I think. But we're playing like we're 1-9.
Well, I will put it this way. I like the fact that my team happens to give me a heart attack every single week. Last week it was the overtime. This week, fourth quarter. Hey, let's see if the defense can take a break for the fourth quarter. Let's see how we do with that. Can't handle it, man. Can't handle it. But 8-0, I'll take it. Best run we've had, in I believe in franchise history.
Yes. Franchise history.
So, pretty phenomenal. Cam Newton continues to develop better and better every single week. I mean, I don't know if you can really call it development after this stage of his career, but definitely seems to be just on fire this season, so it's great.
But you want to know what? This is WrestleRage. This ain't football talk. So what in the hell has been going on in the world of wrestling? Breaking news, Seth Rollins. Go ahead, Stan, you go with it. Run with it. Well,
I would tell you, man.
I would ask Seth to run with it, but he's in a wheelchair.
All I can tell you is Seth Rollins, with as much work ethic as this guy has, I don't know how anybody can destroy their knee and still manage to finish up, not just do a power bomb through a table, but also finish the match with a pedigree. Still managed to do this with one leg. And if you saw the video footage, it's out there on YouTube, it's out there on Vine, Tumblr, it's everywhere. It's all over the place. I would imagine even WWE.com has footage playing at some point. The injury that occurred very much reminded me of what happened with Sid. Now, in this case, though, what I would tell you is when the knee dislocated and then went back into place, that was good news. That's probably the only good news out of that, because recovery of what Sid took on was career-ending, almost. With Seth Rollins, we're looking at 6 to 9 months. Now, what this means for Seth Rollins is heartbreaking, because he will miss WrestleMania, he will miss the Royal Rumble, and he will most likely miss SummerSlam. Now, if he's a rehab machine, kind of like Triple H and John Cena, comes back in 6 months, it's still a stretch to see if he can be ready in time for SummerSlam.
You know, the other thing is, this is, to my knowledge, his first major injury, not just with WWE, but just in his career. So,
you know what, Eddie? You're a little bit more hip to Tyler Black and beforehand. What is your knowledge of injuries with Seth Rollins? Have we seen previously major injuries for him?
Not really that many of them. He's had minor sprains here and there, and he's worked through them for the most part. He's had to take a couple of little stretches off, but nothing to this extent. I saw the footage of that. It just made me cringe due to the fact that it's like you genuinely hate to see somebody go down like that, especially when they are riding on the cloud.
What are you doing, Corey? Buddy? Anybody there?
He may have finally muted himself.
Holy cow. It just sounded like he was about to die.
No, it sounded like an earthquake going on or something over there. It's like,
right? Rumbling, stumbling all over the world.
Rest in peace, John Tenta.
Wow, a little bit late for that, but hey, what the hell? Thank you for getting that
He's
reference
a man,
in there.
not a fish.
There you go. But as far as it goes, yeah, you hate to see somebody who is riding on the cloud that Seth Rollins has been on. I mean, at the absolute pinnacle of the game, so to speak. I hate it for him.
Wait, hang was that? Did you just say he was riding on the game?
No, riding on the cloud at the pinnacle of the game.
So is Triple H now going as the Cloud?
No, that would be Stephanie's chest.
Oh, but that might as well be a cloud, because that's heaven, baby.
2 clouds.
She won't call you back. Give it a
She
rest.
used to call me on my cell phone.
She's my longtime close personal friend.
But you want to know what though? She won't be anybody's ass girl.
Yeah, but I am the authority.
We could do this all day, folks. We could do this all day.
That's what scares me.
So with the news of Seth Rollins' injury, here comes the big story out of all of this. Yes, it's a huge incident or a huge event, noticing just what they've got to do to reshuffle. Survivor Series coming up this month, the end of this month.
2 weeks.
Can't wait for this. It's going to be a tournament for the WWE Championship. Now, the problem with this, and this is what I've been trying to generate to get some people's brackets together and see what everybody's predicting, because if it's a 16-man tournament that they do at Survivor Series, Roman Reigns is still tentatively pegged to win, but who do you put in the brackets? How do you feel 16?
You go
very carefully.
Actually,
you take 7 from SmackDown. You take 7
But
from.
this isn't the brand splits. Does it matter what network they're on?
Yeah, it does. Not.
Okay. Well, you want to know what? Maybe give somebody. I said give Samoa Joe the ball.
I'd give it to Kevin Owens before I give it to Samoa Joe.
Why?
Owens is a tried commodity now on Raw. Samoa Joe is not. For him to go straight from NXT when he is still making a couple of indie appearances, there's that damn word again, then that would basically be a no-go for WWE Brass. Same thing with James Storm. He's still got appearances all the way through probably, I believe it's February that he's contractually obligated to. I mean, NXT...
Okay.
NXT
I
is
don't
one
think
thing.
they're as concerned about that as they used to be.
Well, but that makes sense. You know what? I forgot that Joe was still contractually obligated on some indie dates, so I don't think they would make him the guy yet, which makes sense.
Whoa! You mean the guy? That's a huge stretch for just starting out on NXT.
I'm talking about the guy. You know, as far as James Storm, Brian almost did his Twitter. You're not a Brian James. People barely know who you are. To put the strap on him, I think he's a little bit too old.
No,
I think, and I don't mean.
And we're
I think what's
talking numbers now.
Well, let me finish. And I don't mean like that. 38 or 39 or 42 is old. I'm talking about he would be great where he's at in NXT to teach the kids. And when I say kids, guys that are just getting new into the system. James Storm has done stuff on TV, albeit it's been TNA, but he knows how to work a TV match. He knows how to, you could, fill 6 minutes worth of stuff in a 4-minute bag because he's got that experience. Same thing with having Rhino on NXT. Hell, bring somebody up from NXT.
Okay, so let's say you do that. Now, look at if you do a 16-man bracket, which is probably what they could do, we will most likely see 8. 8 is super easy to fill. 16 to me is tougher, but you're on the right track, I would think. If you're pulling from NXT, you do some qualifiers for NXT, you celebrate it like a big deal for them. Put Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Tyler Breeze has already debuted, so Tyler Breeze would be technically the main roster.
And the thing was, the thing is, if you do an 8-man roster, it would be predictable. Okay,
that's the thing. Yeah,
Wait, hold on, Corey. Who would you pick if they were to go ahead and put King Barrett against Sheamus? Who would go over?
Who would go? What, King Barrett versus Sheamus
in a match right now in the brackets? If hypothetically speaking, King Barrett.
That's easy. You have Barrett go over.
You have Barrett go
Sheamus
over because Sheamus
at the end.
Exactly.
Not always true. Remember, they put Rollins in the main event by virtue of cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase, which had never been done before this year.
You don't think they're going to give Sheamus a main event run at WrestleMania?
I think that they could play this.
That's not going to happen.
Sheamus really hasn't done anything for me since about 2009 or 10. Or
a little bit later than that. Ever since the last injury, he's really just fell way off the radar. Oh, and by the way, for the record, you bring up the age card a minute ago. Let me throw this one at you. 2 years ago, before the Yes Movement hijacked WWE, remember, they were going to put the WWE Championship on Dave Bautista. And how old was Dave Bautista when that match took place at WrestleMania? Mid-40s.
Oh, that's true. I
mean, in his late 40s.
Thank you.
But to the credit of the WWE and Dave Bautista, he's an established WWE star.
So?
And again, this is not to bash James Storm and what he's done in TNA, but he'll never be a WWE guy. It's that stigmata when they brought Booker T over
stigma
from. Okay. When they brought Booker T over from WCW, they kept the WCW strap on him, and it took forever for him to get the WCW whitewash off of him. No pun intended.
No,
wow, that was racist and bad.
Thank you, Hulkamania.
What do you mean?
Hulkamania's a new cracker right here.
Folks, we're live WrestleRage Radio. Like I said, Smart Rage is the real deal. He is the product of WrestleRage Radio.
So, what about John Cena? I mean, do you think they're on the phone with him right away? You think they're like, all right, Cena, come back from vacation?
No.
You want to know what? I would be on the damn phone with Daniel Bryan begging him to come back.
I would be. I would definitely ask Daniel Bryan to come back.
Wait a minute. From what I've heard, Daniel Bryan has been cleared by his doctors, but not by WWE staff.
But they need to beg. What I'm saying is beg him to come back. The powers that be need to beg the doctors to friggin' clear him. That's what. Excuse me. Let me be more specific.
You mean the authority?
But the concern about that though is, and we've seen.
Not real, Eddie.
Well, but what we're talking about though, in regards to the concussions and recovery, they're very, very serious about how they clear or don't clear someone. So, is the concern now much like they had with Christian, and then conceivably with Dolph Ziggler as well, that the next one is the last one? I mean, they retired Christian. They put him out. Shoulder and concussions, he was done.
Yeah, but also, Christian was pushing 40, if not 40 already, or 41.
But there we go with that age thing again. That doesn't necessarily matter. It's the amount of times you've had concussions.
But if you just let me finish, pal. I know you're family free and you don't have anybody. You don't have a woman speaking for you, and I understand you get to do this once a week.
Corey,
you get to be free and clear. Just let me get my stuff.
I think you like to kind of try to put your shine in, but
no, he likes to steal everybody else's shine. Yeah.
Hang on a second. Don't bring Chip up in there, okay? Because I gave him his shine back in the Masquerade, and he was thankful.
You did give him his shine back.
I did. Okay. So I gave it back to him.
Did you just inhale as in suck and the methodology that you just gave his shine back to him?
Well, somebody had to do it.
I gave him his shine back. Okay.
You went asked him out.
Oh, that's so bad.
God,
Stan, you said that. Holy crap.
He returns my phone calls.
Reigns gets the belt. I'm laying that one out there now. I would rather see Kevin Owens get the belt because I think that would be a beautiful thing.
You didn't let me finish.
Go ahead, finish.
What
you never do with her, finish.
Oh.
Well, I've still got 30 seconds.
But longest 30 seconds of my life right now.
But I forgot what I was going to say. Let's reset and bring me back to where I was because I lost my train of thought.
So, I mean, when we continue to look at the bracketing, we continue to look at the possibilities. If it's an 8-man roster, for example, or an 8-man bracket, 8-man's pretty predictable. You can book it conceivably. My thought process still says we see a Dean Ambrose Roman Reigns finals, and Roman Reigns comes away with the title. Now, if Sheamus is eliminated first thing, I think he cashes in, but I think he fails. I don't think he's successful with the cash-in because I don't think they've got enough faith in him to allow him to be champion.
And we talked about bringing back John Cena. John Cena is, wow. That son of a bitch bench pressed 600 or deadlifted or something with weight, 642 pounds or 3 pounds. What a friggin' that dude's an animal. But I think
it was 665, I think, or something crazy like that.
It was crazy. But I think bringing Cena back would also show that they don't have any lack of faith in the guys that they have. Cena's not always going to be there. You can't always call up Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels and come back to pop the ratings. Cena's not always going to be there. He requested this time off. Let the guy have his break. The guy works legitimately 365 days a year. He's that guy every day of the year. Let the dude relax. I owe you one, pal. Hell, if I were on the, who from NXT could they bring in? Could they bring in Finn Balor?
Yes.
You strap the rocket ship to Balor?
No, not right now. I think you could have him debut much like you did with The Undertaker, and you could definitely see that kind of a presence there. I think once the Demon debuts, he's going to have a huge role to play, and I think that's what they're trying to groom him for. But I don't foresee an NXT person debuting and winning the title. I don't think they would do that. I mean, we got about as much chance of seeing Dolph Ziggler come away with it as we do seeing an NXT guy come away with it.
Well, and that's sad because I think it's like you said, the concussion deal was with Dolph Ziggler. They're afraid that they're afraid to do anything. It's kind of almost like when Randy Orton had those couple of bad wellness violations, and it's kind of like it's a perfect example. William Regal talked about in an interview he did last year about that he was slated to win the WWE Championship, and the reason why he never did it was because they had no lack of faith of him because he kept screwing up, because he kept failing the wellness policy. So to use that, not the wellness policy, as far as the concussions, there's no lack in faith of this guy getting hurt. It's not ballet, but
I mean, Sting's not healthy enough to do a guest spot, so that's not going to happen. Now,
right.
That would be cool, but I just don't think it's going to happen. You got Dean Ambrose, you've got Dolph Ziggler, Roman Reigns, Big Show, Mark Henry, Barrett, Sheamus. Who am I missing?
But the other thing about
Owens and Ryback. Jeez.
Okay,
and Del Rio.
Orton's out.
Ryback isn't a star. Ambrose is upper mid card level at the best.
Wow, really?
He's Roddy Piper-ish. Roddy was never a star.
Whoa.
Hang on a second. No, whoa.
Please correct that.
Yeah, really.
Clean that up in post, please.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
What I mean is...
What he meant to say was...
that Roddy Piper was a star, but didn't need the WWF title. He didn't need it.
He didn't need it, but he should have. He deserved it. Much like in WCW with his feud with Hogan, he deserved a run. I don't know what it is with guys like that. People just don't.
But so did Ted DiBiase, and we're getting off on what we're talking about.
That's a good point, though. DiBiase.
Okay, hey, do me a favor.
It's not a bad topic.
DiBiase, but that's why I'm trying to wrap this up in a nice big bow. Ambrose is kind of like the DiBiase and Roddy Piper, where it would be cool to see him as WWE champion once, twice, 3 times, but he doesn't need it. But it also goes back to carrying yourself like a star. Is he believable? Is he marketable? Eddie, you've been doing this since 1984. You've got to agree with me.
To a degree.
Do these guys, are they marketable?
To a degree. A lot of them are, but let me give you this one. Now, I've gone through the WWE roster as it stands on WWE.com. I have come up with, if we go to a 16-person tournament, I've got the following names that would be very logical, credible, and believable to put in this tournament. Kevin Owens, Alberto Del Rio, The Big Show, John Cena, Cesaro, Ambrose, Reigns, Dolph Ziggler, Jack Swagger, King Barrett, Sheamus, Mark Henry, The Miz, Neville, Ryback, and Rusev. On their roster, they have 3 people listed that I would love to see if they could find a way to work them in one way or the other. That would be Daniel Bryan, Chris Jericho, and Brock Lesnar. There are... Yes?
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day about Chris Jericho being a surprise, like a surprise entrance, and he just comes and it pops the crowd and all that. But out of all those names that you just named,
8.
minus Brock Lesnar, minus Chris Jericho, and what was that last one that you named in that group?
Yes, boy.
Who?
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan. Out of those 3, take those 3 out of the equation.
Well, that made 19. That made 19. The original 16 ended with Rusev.
Okay, let me finish now. Take out Daniel Bryan. Take out the Big Show. Those other 15. How many of those guys are bona fide stars?
7.
Name them. What's 7 of the stars?
Kevin Owens, Alberto Del Rio, John Cena, Cesaro, Ambrose, Reigns, Dolph Ziggler.
Take out Cena. Make pretend Cena's not here. He's retired.
So that's going to lead to 14.
Okay.
Therein lies the funny part, because you could actually, if you really want to, you could use the next 2 weeks on Raw and SmackDown to have exclusion matches to where they automatically go to the to the quarterfinals, and you could use also use Raw and SmackDown for play-in matches into the bracket of 16. You turn around and you take the warm-up, the pre-show. You hold 4 short matches with the lower seeds on that one to play in for the quarterfinals. Then you have the final 8 on the pay-per-view. That way you can have 7 matches from there. You also turn around from there and you still have Charlotte versus Paige, New Day versus Usos, and the Wyatts versus the Brothers of Destruction.
I mean, it depends on what they do for the roster itself or for the brackets. If they do 8 makes better sense for the bigger show. 16, if they only focus on the tournament, I think would be more entertaining and would definitely have more to offer. We are rolling into our first break of the evening, so let's go ahead and get that done. When we come back, we're going to be talking to a legend in our time, Q-Ball Carmichael. Going to be talking.
I'm already on the air.
Okay, not in your own mind though. So, Q-Ball Carmichael will be joining us to talk about the Buddy Landell Memorial Cup. So we're going to be talking to him in just a few moments. Hang around here, right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network, right here on WrestleRage Radio. We'll see you in a minute.
Oh, feel the rage! Ah.
Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Runner, Fast Eddie Lane, as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
Welcome back to WrestleRage Radio, right here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Myself, Stan Grubb, our co-host Corey, Smart Rage and the Champion. Joining us, of course, is our producer, as always, Fast Eddie Lane. But we are privileged to be joined tonight by a good friend of the show, Q-Ball Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good. Listen, Eddie and Stan and Corey, thanks for having me on again. I really appreciate it. You've always been gracious with your airtime with me. And, I want you to know I appreciate it first off up front.
Absolutely. It's good to have you back. So let's dive right into this thing. On this Saturday, November 14th, you're having the Buddy Landell Memorial Cup. It's a damn shame that Buddy Landell passed away. I didn't know him. Talked to him a few times on Facebook. When he did the Facebook thing. Tell us a little bit about this Memorial Cup you got coming up.
Well, it obviously, everybody knows who Buddy is, but Buddy and I have been probably best friends in the business for almost 20 years. I put him over 18 years ago for the IPWA heavyweight title when I ran that promotion. We were on the road together in '95. He did a lot of Smoky Mountain, he did a lot of stuff. We were on a tour with a guy who put it together for all the Northeast, and we were always on that together. And we just, struck up a friendship and talked a lot on the phone. I mean, if it went more than 2 weeks and there wasn't a call between one of us, we were looking for each other. And, Buddy was a great man of faith. And, he had some turmoil in his life. And, he's the first wrestler that came out and admitted that drugs and alcohol ruined his career, and he beat those demons. And, went back into Smoky Mountain and kicked butt. People don't know it, but in 1983, 84, 85, he was selling out arenas, versus Ric Flair. They still hold the gate record at the Dorton Arena here in Durham, North Carolina. So, a great guy. And the thing about Buddy was he was always willing to help somebody. I mean, everybody that's on my show had dealt with Buddy in some capacity, and that's why it was important for me on this first show to only put people I knew that had a personal relationship with Buddy on the show. So everybody there has a connection to him, which is great. And, the tragic thing is Buddy has two daughters, Colby and Celeste, and Colby always traveled on the road with Buddy, and she'd had some issues, and Buddy and Donna took custody of her two kids to help her out. She gets her life straightened out last fall, and she gets an infection in her leg from a cut, and goes to the ER, and they give her oral antibiotics, and it was too late, and it spread to her bones, and by the time she went back in, it was just too late to get caught up with the infection. It spread to her skull, and she had a stroke. And here's the type of man that Buddy Lundell was. He talked to me every day for 107 straight days. We prayed together. His daughter lingered in a coma. He held her hand. He never left the hospital. He had clothes brought in. He showered there. He ate there. He lived there. And he was holding her hand when she passed on the 107th day. And that was in April. And that's the kind of guy he was. And, tragically on Father's Day, he was taking his other daughter out to dinner. They got in what is really a minor car accident, but Buddy was, not big on wearing a seatbelt. And he went to the hospital, decided to check himself out. The next morning, he told his wife, Donnie, he wasn't feeling good around 11 o'clock, laid down, and she went and found him at 1, and he had passed away. He ruptured his spleen and bled to death internally. And it was real tragic. Tracy Smothers called me about an hour after it happened, and Tracy and I were real close friends, and Tracy and Buddy and I were close friends. And so, to me, it was devastating. I mean, I've lost people in my life, and, we lose a lot of brothers, and sometimes it surprises you, sometimes it doesn't. But when you lose somebody that truly was your kin, a guy that you shared everything, no matter how deeply personal it was, whether it was both our bouts of addiction or recovery or things that were on in our personal lives, he was there when I went through a terrible divorce in 1999, 2000, and, always by my side. And he was just one of those guys that if something was going on in your life, he was right there for you. I mean, he's got his daughter in the hospital, and he's on the phone. We pray for her, and then he prays for me, and my heart condition improves and everything. And, of course, it's back to normal, so that's good. But that's just the type of guy Buddy was. He put everybody first. But what happened is, and this could have been his will, I don't know, but we weren't able to have a memorial service for Buddy. And my phone rang off the hook, and guys were going to come here, we're going to go together, we're going to meet there, whatever, in Knoxville, wherever they had the service at Chilhowee, Virginia, where he lived for 20 years. And we didn't have that opportunity. His wife decided no service, no friends, and a quick cremation. And so, Buddy's mom and I have become very close since his passing. We talk every week, and we thought that we should have had a chance to honor him. So what I decided to do is to have the Buddy Lundell Memorial Cup. The inaugural one is next week, the 14th, here in Beautiful, North Carolina, Eastern North Carolina. Buddy's mom's driving in from Knoxville. A lot of his friends are coming, and we have people flying in from Canada. We have people coming in from Texas, Oklahoma, New York, New Jersey. I mean, it's a big event. A lot of people are traveling in and putting this first on their list, and we're really excited about it. But the whole idea of the event is there's no profit on the event. Every dime raised is going to go into a college fund for both of Buddy's grandchildren that he had custody of. And my hopes is one is 11, one is 7. By the time we do this for 5 or 6 or 7 years, I was a stockbroker for years, along with a home improvement business, and that's all I do now is day trade. So I'm going to put it in a secure investment for these kids, and hopefully by doing this every year we can add to it, and maybe in 7 or 8 years or 10 or 11 for the second one, maybe we'll be able to put them through college and give them a chance at a better life. And that's my hope, and that's what this is for. Buddy's mom is working diligently to do it. And I've got some great news. The second annual Buddy Lundell Memorial Cup will be on August 13th, 2016 in Knoxville, Tennessee, Buddy Lundell's hometown. So we're excited about that. Yeah, so I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse and talk too much about that. But, it's a great event. You can go online and you can buy. Have you guys seen the tickets? I posted them a couple times.
I got to be honest. I've seen the images, but I don't recall the exact design of them.
Well, they look like a concert ticket. They got the mall, a hologram logo on there, but it's got Buddy's picture on there, and it says the Buddy Lundell Memorial Cup. So they're real nice, and, people who want to help from a distance can, get the PayPal address for us and buy a ticket or two, and we'll mail them the ticket so they have a memento of the show, even if they can't make it, something they keep in a scrapbook or something. and it's they're in spirit tickets. And we've had some incredible people come forward with contributions. The town here that I live in is, the sponsors are coming out of the woodwork. It's going to be a great event. We're going to do great things, and I think we'll have a really good house. And we got some talented wrestlers on the card. I mean, we drew to see who was going to wrestle who. Now, I've had some wars with Damian Wayne, and I was kind of hoping, to be honest with you, I didn't draw him, but I drew him in the first round. So we're gonna wrestle each other again. It should be a war. I got Tracy Smothers against Lou Marconi. They first faced off 18 years ago in ECW. And we got Rudy Boy Gonzalez from Texas on the show, Mickey Gambino, Pat Cusick. I mean, just the Geordie Bulldogs, gentleman Jack Cicero, and Jimmy Cicero. So we got some great talent on it. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a great night. It's going to be an emotional night, but I think it was fantastic. I'll post some pictures after the show because I want it to be a surprise. The inaugural cup is a beautiful trophy. I'll just give you this with a cup on top, but it was Buddy Rendell Memorial Cup. I bought a plaque for everybody in the tournament. So whoever wins, we're going to put it on there that night. And we were able to find a wrestling figure from a trophy shop in California that overnighted it to us. That's going to be mounted on the top of the cup. So it's really going to be unique, and it's going to be a symbolize what everybody felt about Buddy, and just a real good night to celebrate his life and not focus on his passing. So we're excited about it.
I tell you what, it sounds like a hell of a show. I mean, just some of the names you've already mentioned already: Damian Wayne, Rudy Boy Gonzalez. I mean, sounds like a real stacked card. I know that you've been a huge part of making sure everything is put together. This has really been your baby. And when you're looking into setting up the bracketing for that, how hard is that for you?
We honestly did it. I did a live drawing on Facebook, and I put everybody's name in the hat, and my wife draw them out. I mean, it could have been anybody, and it just happened to turn out the matchups that it is. I mean, it's me and Damien in the first round, Tracy and Lou. It's Rudy's got Mickey Gambino, Bobby Wolfert's got Chris Taylor out of Pittsburgh. Pat Cusick's got the Memphis Mofo, Mark Barrera. It couldn't have came out better. I mean, if I'd have picked everybody ahead of time, this is almost the way I would have lined it up, except I would not have got in there with Damien. Unless we came down to the finals, then I would have. But, the thing about that is him and I work real tight, and it's real rough, and it's real physical, and, I got 15 years on the kid, so I think I feel it a little more the next day than he does. So, but it's going to be great. I mean, it's going to be an excellent card along with a great night of remembrance.
Actually, Q, do me a favor. Let me cut in for a second because you're mentioning Damian Wayne, and I've got to go ahead and throw this one out there. You got to remember he is also the current and reigning AIWF World Heavyweight Champion. So if you pick up a win over Damian in this tournament, that could also help propel you back up the ratings. You could be staring another world title run in the face.
Yeah, that'd be a wonderful thing because Maul has joined the AIWF, so we're an AIWF affiliate, and we plan on having Damian in a few times. Honestly, when I run shows, I don't like to wrestle on them. This one I had to because of the situation, obviously. And, I live in a small town. When you live in a small town and the ex-chief of police, is my best friend, and, the whole police force knows us. We live a block away from them, and so everybody knows what I did. So I don't want to say I'm a celebrity, but I'm a local celebrity. So I think people come out because they know that they're going to get to see me wrestle. It's the first time I wrestled in this town in 6 years. So, or even anywhere close to this town in 6 years. So I think you're going to be pretty excited about, having me on the show, but I don't plan to make it a regular. But if I get a win over Damian, will I go in the gym and kill myself and hopefully get a shot at the title? I know it's not going to be put up at this show because of the cup, but I would love to get a shot at him down the line for the world title if I work my way up that high.
Matt Classic, pay attention.
Speaking about world titles, why is Rob Conway still ducking you?
I thought originally when he had the title he was ducking me. He probably wouldn't now, but I think Rob and I are a perfect matchup. You've got a guy who is a great wrestler. It's not me, him, and you've got a guy who's a pretty good brawler. And, after spending 10 months with Luke, I can sort of hold my own. So I thought it would have been a great matchup. I really did. I thought it would have been money, and it just didn't seem it almost happened a couple times, and Rob was down with it. I mean, he emailed me and said, let's do it. And we just couldn't get it put together. At that particular time, he was doing a lot of Japan stuff, and, the money's so much better over there. I don't blame him for it. So when he was back, I wasn't available. When I was available, he was over there. So it just didn't work out. But you know what? There's always tomorrow.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, Mid-Atlantic Wrestling League. As you go forward, I mean, this is also another one of your projects. You're one of the busiest men in wrestling that I know of. I don't know how you even find time to see your family, dude.
Well, I strategically placed my wrestling school 1/8 of a mile from my front door, and there are times when my 9-year-old goes over with me and does her homework while we're working out in the ring. So, and my wife is just a tremendous supporter. We've been together 12 years, and she's just an incredible supporter. She's doing the program for the event. She's working the door, collecting the money. We've got volunteers coming in from 3 volunteers coming in from Pittsburgh, old friends of ours from the wrestling business that are coming in just to help with the concessions and everything else. And, I have a lot of help. I oftentimes don't give them enough credit. I did in this program. Typically, though, during the week, I hold down a full-time job. I train 4 days a week at the wrestling school. I run mall. You probably guys know that I have a non-competing podcast on Tuesday nights, the Undisputed Wrestling Show. I took over for Rick Craig, been around a couple of years, and I do that every week for 2 hours. But, sometimes the research for that is actually longer than the 2 hours because I like to know enough about my guests where I can have an intelligent conversation about where they've been, what they've done, how they started, things like that, just like you guys do. A lot of homework involved in it. And people don't realize that there's a lot of homework involved in a radio show if you're going to be successful and be on the air for a while. So, that and of course, Mid-Atlantic Wrestling League is putting our show together for November. Typically, I don't run a lot in January, February, so it'll be downtime for me. I run again March, June, the Landau Cup in Knoxville in August. Then I run September, November here. And there's a couple school shows in between, but that's typically right here at the National Guard Armory. They take pretty good care of me over there. And that's the mall's home base right there.
You mentioned in March. Have you have any plans for the Mid-Atlantic promotion or the Mid-Atlantic event, the Fan Fest going on in Myrtle Beach in March?
I don't. I don't get too much because I'm so busy as it is with real life and regular job and family commitments and wrestling and school and everything. And I just came off the road traveling in April, and I was down for 2 weeks, and my wife had said, I don't know, I'm probably going to go crazy if I do this, but I think I should open a wrestling school. And she's like, hey, go ahead. If it's going to keep you happy and you're not going to be on the road anymore, do it. So, I've been dying to go to Cauliflower Alley Club because Luthez started it 50-something years ago, and I would love to go, but for me to block out 3 days plus a day each way for travel it's absolutely nearly impossible. And truth be told, if I was going to do that, I'd take my family to the Bahamas or Aruba or Florida for 3 or 4 days and, chill out with them versus, and trust me, I love my brother, but, you only have so many hours in a day and so many weeks in a month and so many months in a year. And I try to make the most out of them. And, being busy is good for me because I suffer from obsessive-compulsive disorder and the disease of addiction. So if I stay so busy that all I can do is drop at 10 o'clock at night and get back up at 5:30 and go great guns till 10 again, I'm a good company because I'm too busy to get in trouble.
Well, could you invite Stan and I to Aruba? Can we go with you? We'll be a good travel.
I wrestled in Aruba before. I fell in love with it. Tom Gonzalez used to run shows down there. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Yes, you can go. You can go, but it won't include airfare or hotel accommodations. Definitely not food or drink.
Well, I've changed my mind then.
It's like those vacations they call you on and say you want a vacation all the way to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Includes everything except airfare, hotel, and accommodations. What?
Notice
only $300.
He didn't say anything about the rental car to and from the airport, so he's got you covered on that, though.
There you go.
Awesome.
So one of the things that I wanted to bring up, this training center, we've seen photos just of everything coming together. Tell us about your training center and how important to you, because I know that you're a big proponent of giving back and bringing the young guys up right. So how important was it for you to be able to do this?
Well, it was crucial. There's a lot of pressure with it, though, because I ran a school in the late 90s and graduated, Christian York and Joey Mercury and Otto Schwartz, who went to WWE and Bo Duff. I mean, I had between my students, I only opened it for 2 years. They had 9 bona fide contracts with either WCW, ECW, or WWE. So for me, it's a lot of pressure because once you've been successful, the pressure's always on you to do a repeat because there's so many people waiting for you to slip and fall. So, it was important for me to do it. And it was a labor of love because we went into a building that nobody's been a tenant in for 35 years. And we go in there in April thinking we're going to have this thing set up and ready to go in June. And then the inspector comes in and says, nope, you got to have a firewall. Nope, you got to have fire doors, $1,100 a piece. Panic hardware, $300 a piece. This wall's going to cost you $12,000. You got 9 single-stall bathrooms. You need 4 handicap-accessible bathrooms, $12,000 a piece. So, this thing became a complete labor of love and a money pit, but it's done. It looks great. We're about to cover the floor in Resolite mats. So, there's over 2,000 square feet in there. I got an 18.5 by 18.5 ring that's a sweet bumping ring. And, I've got, right now, we've been open since September 12th. I've got 5 students. I suspect I'm talking to 3 more this week. I'll probably have 10 by December. And that's all I really like to deal with. Now, once these 10 have been there for 6 months, then I'll bring in 10 more. And these will be the guys working with them and teaching them. Because what I find is when you bring a wrestler in and you train them the right way, a lot of people come to my school. I'll give you an example. A guy called me and said, how long do I have to go to your school before I can wrestle? I said, a year to 18 months. He goes, what? I just talked to so-and-so, and he said in 3 months I'll be in the ring. I said, go to his school, talk to him, come here and talk to me. So the kid went and talked to this guy. He's a couple hours away, and the kid's right in the middle, and he came here and talked to me, and he says, I'm ready to sign up. How much do you need? And, it's just a difference in philosophy. I can teach a person to wrestle physically in 3 months, but to drill the psychology into their head and to understand how this business works and to be able to go into the ring, not even knowing the finish, to be able to call a match from start to finish, have it make sense, have the first thing be connected to the second thing, and the second thing to the third thing, all the way to the finish, is incredibly difficult to get somebody to be able to do that on the fly with somebody they've never met before until they meet in the middle of the ring. And, that's the way it used to be back in the day. There was a lot of separate locker rooms off the side of the building. I mean, the first time I met Jason Knight 21 years ago in Brooklyn, New York on a Del Rios, a.k.a. Spellbinder show, I got there late, and I'm running in. The doctor's taking all my paperwork, doing a physical. They go, just run in. He's going to super kick you as soon as you come in. I run in, boom, super kicks me, covers me, and he's like, Jason Knight, nice to meet you. And that was, there was a little bit more before the super kick, but, we just went as we went and talked in there. And, to teach guys to be able to do that, have the ability to do that successful, because, at the end of the day, despite what their name is, there's Carmichael written across their back every time they're out there. So, I got to make sure they're ready. They can go. They can call it. They're not going to get frustrated. They can go in there and work a guy who doesn't have a ton of experience. I'm not a big fan of green guys working green guys, but, my guys will have enough ability that they'll still be able to plot a good match from a guy as long as he's got some basic training. And that's the key. And, this weekend I was fortunate enough to spend the whole weekend with a guy who's been a friend for 20 years, Steve Carino. As a matter of fact, his first time Steve worked for me, managed the Iron Sheik against me in the main event in Alexandria, Virginia. And he's got PWF, Premier Wrestling Federation, about 40 minutes from my front door. And, we've been friends for a long time, so I was down there Friday night. My dad, Jimmy's sister, was on there. And a lot of the guys that I've worked and helped with around North Carolina since I've been here, since 2009 to there. And, it's nice because I have the ability to sit there and watch the matches, and, it never fails. I mean, on his shows, he books smart talent. Everybody comes up to me and goes, did you watch? What can I do different? What can I do to be better and things like that. So, it's nice to be able to go there and help out these guys, too, that aren't just at my school because, if I die, unfortunately, in 10 years, and I don't give this stuff to somebody in this history of this business and the people that I've worked with, it dies. And that's a sad thing, A lot of people I've been putting out on Facebook for free forever, and I've taken a lot of heat from guys about doing it. But I said, listen, I have guys like Justin Overstreet and Zane Stevens who sent me a match 3 years ago. I looked at it, and my response to them was this: we're G-rated, so I'll do it nice. Is this an effing rib? because the match was so bad. I was sure one or two of my buddies got a fake name and sent me a match with some goofs somewhere in the world because it was just dreadful. And I go, do you guys, like everybody else, just want to hear what you want to hear, or do you want the truth? They want the truth. I said, it's terrible. You got to be dismantled. You got to start again from the beginning. And they came to a seminar Mike Maverick and I had. They came to my 3-day camp in January 2014. I hooked them up with Jack Ward down there because he's close to him. They've been working with Ray Lloyd Glacier. And now those guys, Justin's a former AIWF World Heavyweight Champion.
Right.
Zane is unbelievable. Zane's lost 65 pounds in 2.5 years. And Justin has gained 40. So, I mean, they just look incredible. And, you know, that's the example of what happens when people are willing to accept constructive criticism and build on it and fix what they need to fix from there. And, you know, that to me, that's part of giving back, too. I mean, you know, you got to, if people are willing to accept the help, you're obligated to give them the help, whether you're making $1 off it or you're not, you know. And certainly these days in wrestling schools, with what we charge for tuition, none of us are going to really get rich. Let's be honest. Performance Center maybe, but not us.
Q, let me jump in for one more thing real quick. I noticed on the seminar poster that you have slated for Saturday, November the 14th. Once again, that is this coming Saturday at the Mall Arena, 144 Route 41. And pronounce that, please. Is it Beulahville, North Carolina?
Yeah, Beulahville, North Carolina.
Okay. One of the things that you mentioned on the poster, which I'm looking at right now, is something that I have been a huge proponent of for years. You have so many kids who get into this business with the sole intent, I want to be a wrestler. No. Understand something. In this world of professional wrestling, you are creating your own brand. If you just want to be a wrestler, that means you just want to be a football player. You just want to be, you don't want to stand out. If you understand the concept of making yourself a brand, of pushing yourself to the next level in more than just a physical sense, you have a shot at going further than you even dreamed of. And I'm assuming, there's that word again, that is one of the things that you're going to be covering at the seminar this weekend.
Yeah, it is. You know, branding is so important.
Yes.
And I'll give you an example. You know, I got into business in '83. I was in Hawaii. I worked for a couple of years. I went back to Connecticut for 2 years. And I wasn't doing a lot. I worked once in a while for Tony Rumble. And then I moved down to Virginia. And when I moved to Virginia, I decided to do something different. Instead of having the standard, you've seen the old picture of me with just the standard green, nylon outfit, not shiny or anything. I went and I got a K&H out in Ohio to make me a glow green spandex singlet. Nice. That had the pool balls on the front. It had the rack on the back. Had a big cue ball hitting the balls that was on fire. And I used to carry the pool stick to the ring with me. And I had 8 balls on my knee pads, and my finish was called dropping the 8 here. And, I got to tell you that within a few months, I was working with better quality guys like Tom Brandy, Axelrod, and guys like that. And, I was probably 92, 93, a once, maybe twice a month wrestler. By 1996, I was wrestling 100 nights a year. In 1997 or 8, I wrestled 154 times. And, my career took off. Jimmy Citron, I went to WWE, compliments of Tom Brandy, a.k.a. Self-Sincere, and I had that outfit on, and I'm walking down the hall, and Vince McMahon's walking towards me, and he stops, and he looks, he goes, nice. I'm like, thanks. It was eye-catching, but that created the Cue Ball Carmichael brand. I was able to get away from that after 3 or 4 or 5 years, and the brand stayed pertinent because it was me at that point. But, you've got to be unique. You can't copy anybody and be successful. And I tell people that, now, if you want to take a little from Jericho and a little from Austin, a little from The Rock, a little from Triple H, a little from Tully Blanchard, a little from Dusty Rhodes, and mold it together into one, that's still going to be unique. But you can't duplicate a Rock or a Stone Cold. And I tell guys this, I said, listen, they already had a Rock and a Stone Cold. And there's no way, kid, you're going to be as good as they were. And you're always going to be compared to them. And you're going to fail miserably because nobody's ever going to take you serious. So you have to build a unique brand. And that's what we strive for, both with the Evolution Wrestling Academy and what we strive for with Mid-Atlantic Wrestling League, which is the Mall. And I said it's too bad I didn't have a show on Halloween. I could have called it Malloween. But, that Mall logo, that's cheesy, but But, you know, the thing is that's a unique logo, and people recognize it as a unique logo. And we're getting the belt built with that bear head on there and that Mall logo. And, you know, say Mall heavyweight champion, not world heavyweight champion, because let's be honest, we're going to defend it in 2 or 3 different states, and that's about it. So world champion is an overused term. If you're, you know, a WWE guy who wrestles all over the world when they go everywhere, you might be a world champion. But for us independent promotions, I think it carries a lot more clout when it says the promotion's name, like Omega heavyweight champion and Mall heavyweight champion. So big fan of that. So that's, you know, that's what we try to do, is create a brand. And, you know, Tracy Myers, who runs WrestleCade with Brian Hawk and runs America's Most Liked Wrestling, AML, doing a great job. And, you know, he's the king of brands. And, you know, I've been picking his brain for a year and a half, 2 years, and he sent me all his books and everything. And him and I have the same mentality that, you know, you're not going to be successful unless you create a brand. And if you can create a brand on the independent and it gets out there and it gets noticed, you have a shot, because, you know, we've all heard what William Regal says: if you can wrestle, it's a plus, but it's not necessary. You know, but you got to be charismatic, to be outgoing. You got to understand the business. If you still go down there to this day and Regal sees you and you can go 10 minutes in the middle without hitting the corner, hitting the rope and wrestle, you're probably going to get a deal if you've got any level of size or charisma. And, you know, there's some basic stuff to get you over. But if you go down there with a brand and they use your brand, that's going to be your brand when you leave. If they create a brand for you, you're not going anywhere with that brand. We know that. So important to create your own brand.
Right. Credibility is huge, especially. I mean, in this day and age, that's all you have before you really can get your foot in the door or do anything else. You better have some kind of credibility to what you are and who you are. You know, as we look forward, we're getting ready to come up. We got about 30 seconds left here. Q, what are we looking at as far as availability ticket-wise?
We've still got some general admission, and we've still got probably a handful of front row tickets. General admission $15, front row's $22. But, you know, it's going to be really good. And if I could mention really quick, the following weekend I will be at Omega Championship Wrestling, which is going to be in Smithfield, North Carolina, local in Joco 3. They sell it out, about 1,000 people. I'll be managing C.W. Anderson against the Ring Wars Carolina heavyweight champion, Hang Time. And then the following week I'll be at WrestleCade with my buddy Tracy Myers and Brian Hawk. So if you can't catch me at the Buddy Landau Cup, and I certainly hope you can, you'll be able to catch me 1 and 2 the following weeks.
And I hope Matt Hardy doesn't try to take you out again.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, I don't want to see you get your revenge.
Listen, I know we're getting ready to go. I will say this: I did try to reach out to Matt and try to bring him on the show and try to let him air his grievances out. He favorited the tweets, but he just, you know, he superstarred me. That's what he did.
He knows we're in Q-Ball's corner. He knows we're Q-Ball fans, and he doesn't want to disappoint us by, you know, getting rickrolled right here on the show live.
Right, exactly. And plus, he's real busy. I got a new baby, but I don't want to put that over.
Right. That's his stuff, not our stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So, November 14th, Buddy Landau Memorial Cup. Tickets are still available, folks. Do not miss this opportunity to see this show. Real good opportunity to see some fine action in the ring, but also to celebrate the memory of a legend, and rightfully so. So definitely to be able to catch up with our friend Q-Ball Carmichael. You can follow him on Twitter. It's Q-Ball. I always mess up your Twitter handle. What's the Twitter handle?
It's Q-Ball 469. It's not a sexual reference. It was the first year I was ranked in the PWI Top 500. I was 469, 1992.
Right. And of course, you're on Facebook. I mean, this guy's everywhere, and he's busy. So you know,
you
get in where you fit in, so to speak.
You could find him on Facebook. Just search Q-Ball Carmichael and go like his page.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely, thank you, Q.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk soon. God bless.
Man, wow. what you know, we could talk to this guy. You know, it's almost to where we could talk to this guy for 6 more months.
Well, at least do me a favor. Go ahead and take us top of the hour.
Hey, folks, this is SmarkRage live, WrestleRage Radio, only on BeyondRingside.com.
And
we're going to take and Stan's with me, and my producer, the Magic City Machine Gun, Fast Eddie Lane. We'll be back with my longtime close personal friend, from Combat Zone Wrestling, the man who faces the Georgia Wrestling Crown Champion Jimmy Rave next Sunday night. The Product, David Starr. Be right back. Feel the rage.
And you know, one day that ding dong is going to remember we have an app.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is SmarkRage from WrestleRage Radio, coming to you from the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Join myself and my co-host, Super Stan Grubb, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern as we present WrestleRage Radio, where we rant and rave on everything in the world of pro wrestling. Sometimes we'll have a guest. Sometimes it'll be just me and Stan BSing about the sport that we love, pro wrestling. Check us out. Tune in Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, only on the Beyond Ringside Network.
Why things are happening.
2-1.
All right, we are
2-1.
live right back here on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network, WrestleRage Radio. Folks, we just had an awesome conversation with Q-Ball Carmichael about the Buddy Landell Memorial Cup. Right now, we are joined by none other than the Product, David Starr, a gentleman who wrestled for 1 hour, 44 minutes, and if I heard correctly, Corey said 32 seconds. Unbelievable. David, welcome to the show, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me. And yeah, 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 32 seconds. Happened on Friday night with Dave Christ at Rockstar Pro in Dayton, Ohio. So it was pretty special. It was pretty special. It was cool, man. Exhausting and tiring, and I'm really feeling it today. And I was feeling it Saturday and the day after. But I'm really happy it happened. It's something that means a lot to me. And it was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, 104 minutes.
Tell me something about this match. I mean, this is just a crazy length. What was the mindset behind this? Was it just by design, hey, we're going to just go as long as we possibly can? Was it, where does this kind of a thought process come from? Because one, it's a crazy amount of time to be just actively going at it. But, not just that, you've got to really be in some phenomenal shape.
Well, Dave and I had both been training really, really hard for this. The match, it was an Ironman match, so we knew we were going to go 60 minutes, and neither of us could get a fall after 60 minutes. And then the crowd wanted 5 more minutes, and then Dave and I told the owner, who came out to figure out what to do, we told him just to unplug the clock and let us go. And then we ended up going for about another 44 minutes until one of us got a fall.
Wow.
And man, it was pretty crazy because it's not like we really slowed down. We were pretty much at each other the whole time. Dave and I have had a lot of matches against one another, whether it was in tag teams or in singles, especially out there at Rockstar Pro, which is one of my favorite places to wrestle for. Great fans, great management, everything was phenomenal about that place. And it was just a real special thing. We just beat the hell out of each other, and neither one of us had that I quit factor inside of us, and we just kept pushing each other until finally it ended, 104 minutes later.
You're talking about this no quit factor. just kind of jumping in here and throwing this out. Next, a week from tonight at 4:00 at the Quad Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, you're facing the Georgia Wrestling Crown Champion, Jimmy Rave. That guy is internationally known.
Absolutely.
Wrestles every night. The other thing is, you don't just have to contend with Jimmy. You've got to contend with his goons, the Priscilla Kelly, Murder One, the 400-pound No Pain Train Iceberg. You've got to contend with the James Dean of Pro Wrestling, Chip Day. So how are you going to keep your eyes and your mind on the prize, knowing you've got 4 other people in the back that could possibly come out and cost you the match at any time?
Well, I mean, honestly, that part I can't really worry about. That's something that should be more of a focus for the officials and all that. And if I took my eyes off of Jimmy Rave, then I think I'd put myself at a tremendous disadvantage. Jimmy Rave, like you said, is one of the most well-respected wrestlers that still goes today. He's somebody that has accomplished almost just about everything there is to do. I mean, and I'm really excited to get to lock up with Jimmy, and I'm really excited to beat him. Like that's what I go into every single match with, the idea that I'm going to win. And hell, I walked into Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment for the very first time. I was down south, and I took on Cedric Alexander, and I beat him. There's no reason I can't walk back in to Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment and beat Jimmy Rave and walk out champion. That's all that I'm focused on. I'm not worried about any of these other clowns that could possibly help Jimmy out or anything. That's going to be on the officials, and I'm focusing on Jimmy. And,
but you cheated when you beat Cedric Alexander. You had your feet. You had your.
If you cheat to win, if there's no. There's no such thing. If I cheated, then I would have been disqualified, right? Isn't that what happened?
I mean, I saw it. I've got the video. Isn't that what happens
when you cheat? If someone cheats, they get disqualified, right?
If the ref sees it.
No. If someone cheats, you get disqualified.
It ain't cheating if you don't get caught.
If you cheat, you get disqualified. So, obviously, I didn't cheat. I beat Cedric Alexander. When I look at my record book, it says Cedric Alexander, and I beat him. That's what it says. There's a big old W next to my name. So, what happened, and I beat Cedric, and now I'm going to go in and beat Jimmy Rave. So that's all I can really focus on.
I mean, I got to ask you, because I commend you for your focus to Jimmy Rave and not looking outside, but you're not dealing with the typical situation here. I mean, the hierarchy has made their presence felt on numerous occasions. You have nothing in store to keep them at bay?
Dude, I don't know if I can emphasize this enough. Like I've been beaten and battered, and I've been in fights and wars. I've been in grueling tournaments. I've been in grueling matches. I've had my body tested every possible way. So I'm going in there and I'm doing me. Like Jimmy Rave's gonna have to wrestle my match. That's how that goes. I don't go out and worry about what everyone else is going to do. I can only control myself. So I'm going out there to be the best I'm going to be, and my best is better than his best. That's what I believe in my mind.
Don't misunderstand me. I admire the confidence. I just think it's a little dangerous when you're looking at this kind of a scenario. I mean, wrestling Jimmy Rave on itself is a challenge. But when
do you think every other person that goes in there probably thinks about the hierarchy and thinks about all that stuff, and what's happened to them?
That's a fair
point. Why
point.
would I go in there with the same mentality?
But also the thing is, if Jimmy gets disqualified and you win via DQ, you don't get the title.
Yeah, and I'm going in there with the expectation that Jimmy has the balls to be a man and not walk out that way.
Wow.
And if he does, that's his character, don't you think?
Hey, he's been DQ'd before.
Okay. Well, guess what? If he does it with me, it's going to be a lot bigger of a problem.
Hey, folks, you're hearing a lot of confidence coming from the product, David Starr. I mean, I definitely don't have any problem with confidence. I think that's a good thing to have. I think you've got the right mindset as far as making him wrestle your kind of match. And it's certainly not by lack of your talent or ability, but the concern would just be that the outside becomes the inside, so to speak, where the hierarchy gets their nose in your business. And we can go all day long back and forth about whether you cheat or whether you don't. Bottom line is, if you get a W, you get a W, and that's really what it's all about. So, I mean, looking
with the fair share of the purse.
Right. I mean, you want the money, and you want as much bragging rights as you do want the title. So, I mean, I do commend you for your confidence. I would caution you, I'm sure, like any other fan would, when you're looking outside that ring. We're not talking about some slackers or some rookies. We're talking about some people that they've left their mark.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not underestimating anybody. I'm just being very honest. I'm well aware of everything that they've done. I've been in the ring with Chip Day before.
Right.
I've seen Murderer One. I've seen all these guys. Like I know all these guys. I know them all. I'm not oblivious to who they are and what they're capable of. I'm just telling you how I handle it because there's no other way that I can go in my mind.
Right. Well, again, I certainly respect the confidence, and I can't say that I have any reason to doubt you. So
you're damn right.
When you're dealing in these situations, any generic situation, is the goal always to have them wrestle your game? Do you have, friends that you can depend on in situations in the clutch if need be?
The only person you can ever depend on is yourself, and I've learned that the hard way. So I don't worry about anything like that. From wrestling in college and through high school and all that, I had a lot of big matches against a lot of good wrestlers, and going to the national tournament in college and stuff. I'm well aware of what it takes to beat one of the best and be one of the best, and that you can never do that if you're worried about the guy in front of you. So I always told myself, how could I be the guy that everyone worries about if I'm worrying about the guy I'm wrestling? So I always wrestle my match, and I do what I have to do, and that's what I do. I'm not one of these guys who gets all amped up and listens to like heavy metal before I go out there. I always try to be as loose as possible and be in my zone. I don't fear anybody. I don't have anything like that. I'm just going out there, and I believe in myself, and that's what I'm doing. Like that's how it is. I've risen in this business in a very short period of time, and I've done that because I've always done right by me, and that's pretty much the attitude I go in with.
David, Eddie Lane over here. If I could, going back over a little bit of time, you've been in some fun circumstances, both as a singles competitor and as a tag team competitor. I'm a little bit late to the dance on some things, but this is something courtesy of good friends DJ Hyde, Phil Stamper, Nate Stein, and a few others I managed to keep track of in certain circumstances. You've had your greatest success, apparently, as part of the Juicy Product with JT Dunn, which unfortunately that team has gone the way of the yellow speckled dodo bird. But I do have to ask, do you have a true choice, I would say, not necessarily, or preference, I would say, rather than choice? Do you enjoy tag team wrestling as much as singles or vice versa? Is there a way you'd prefer to go on that one? And how crazy was it to have lost or won, actually used both of them, the WSU Tag Team Championships, the belt, because that's the Women's Superstars Uncensored promotion, which is now part of CZW. But talk a little bit about that.
When I was a part of the Juicy Product with JT, we had a great run as a tag team. We won tag team titles everywhere. We're the second team in professional wrestling history ever to hold the CZW and FIP tag team titles simultaneously. The only other team to do that were the Briscoes, and we did a lot of really cool things. Man, we had a really good feud with LI4K. with Jake and Dave Christ. We had a good feud with the Young Bucks. We had a lot of really good matches, wrestled a lot of the best wrestlers, best tag team wrestlers, and best wrestlers, period, in the world. And it was a great experience. I also learned a lot. Again, like I learned to only trust yourself. You can't depend on other people. There's only one person you can control, and that is you. And that's something I learned the hard way. Do I have a preference? I really like where I am right now. I'm really happy being a singles guy. I'm really happy. I'm really happy to just not have to worry about the responsibility of another human being, other than myself. That's something that I really, really like, and things are going really, really good, man. Like I can't really well, I should say. I can't really agree with you when you say the most success. Yeah, I got a lot of attention as a tag team wrestler, and I think Juicy Product was something that blew up in a very, very short period of time. We only were together for like a year and a half, and we did a lot in professional wrestling. As Jake Christ would call it, the belt phenomenon. That's what he referred to it as. But it was a good run. It's over, and I'm really happy where I am. As far as winning the WSU tag team titles, we are equal opportunists, and we believe that men are in the same boat as women. So there's no reason why we couldn't go out there and be treated as equals. And we won the WSU tag team titles because why wouldn't we? Right? Like, what's the big deal? And then Kimberly and Annie Social, Ships Using Nasty Tactics, eventually dethroned us. But
hey, I love those two girls.
Yeah, they're great wrestlers, and I can say that they're two of my favorite people. As far as especially Annie Social, she's awesome.
And do me a favor, what I meant to imply, and if I said it wrong, I apologize. I meant as far as tag team wrestling goes, you seem to have achieved your highest level of success with JT. Not the fact.
Well, yeah, I didn't really have a tag team partner other than that. Yeah.
Corey Stan?
I never had any other tag team partner. The only other person I ever considered tagging with is Shane Strickland.
Okay.
Now, you know, JT will be in the building next week with Kimberly. Could you count on JT to have your back if the shit hits the fan?
Corey.
No, I couldn't count on him to have my back when he had my back. So why would I count on him now?
But I mean, you know, times have changed. He's a different person. His head's clear.
No. No. I'm not dependent on anybody to have my back except for myself. And again, I learned that the hard way because I learned that you can't trust people, and I learned that that's just how it has to be. You have to just be your own man, and that's the only thing you can really do.
I mean, being your own man is important. That's true, but
the guy's changed, though.
I mean, if you need help, you need help, man. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Excuse me? No, what'd you say? Because Stan was talking. I didn't hear what you said.
The guy's changed?
He's changed.
The guy's changed. No, I'm not getting the whole thing, it's like, there's nothing that's changed. I thought he was one way, and then things totally devolved, and the reason they became differences, we had personal differences. That's how it came down to. I know who JT is, and JT knows who JT is. JT knows that I know who JT is. I'm not expecting anyone to have my back. I'm expecting to go in there by myself and get the job done.
Okay, so let's play devil's advocate. You beat Jimmy Rave in the middle of the ring, Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, next Sunday at 4 p.m. at the Quad, 714 Spring Street, Northwest. Tickets are on sale. Where does the product David Starr go from there? This is your second time here in Atlanta. You debuted a few weeks ago, maybe a month and a half ago. Where do you go in Atlanta?
I mean, I'll go anywhere. I'll go anywhere. More so than just the prestige of the title. That title guarantees me bookings, which guarantees me money. Which I pay my bills with this business. So it's very important to me to eat. And in order to do that, I need to win. And that's what this really means to me. So what am I going to do? I try not to think that far ahead. I think day to day. So I'm just focused on the task at hand. I'm not thinking about after I beat Jimmy what I'm going to do. I'm thinking about beating Jimmy.
But you got to get through Jimmy and the rest of his goons, though. Don't forget that.
I got to get through Jimmy. I got to get through Jimmy.
And the rest of his goons.
I'm focused on Jimmy.
Hey, I stand by it. I commend the confidence and the determination to get it done and get it done right. As a fan and as just hopefully a friend in some regard, we just want to see you do well. We don't want to see you get tied up in all that messy business with the hierarchy, because unfortunately they do get involved where they see fit, and that's the one thing we don't want to see happen to you, especially if you're looking to take it on, man. And I think it's admirable to be your own man. I definitely think that you're going the right direction with that thought process. I would just hope the best for you, sir.
Well, I appreciate it. I do sincerely appreciate it. I'm just focused on Jimmy. That's the best thing I can do. And this week, today I took a recovery day after, wrestling for 104 minutes and then wrestling another match the next day. Today I took a day to recover, and tomorrow I'm going to be right back in the gym, getting myself ready for this upcoming weekend, and that includes Jimmy Rave.
Do you prepare any differently, especially after going, as long as you did just recently? Do you get yourself prepared in a different manner? Do you do something different to get your cardio back up, or do you feel like you're okay in that regard? I mean, clearly you're in good shape. I mean, that's not a question here, by the way. We're not concerned about your fitness, but the concern here is with going against Jimmy Rave. I mean, do you prepare differently for a guy like him?
No. Again, I'm going to wrestle my match. I'm going to make Jimmy wrestle my match. As far as training goes, I mean, I'm going to do exactly what I would do normally. I'm going to study tape. I'm going to work my ass off in the gym, and I'm going to do my lifts. I'm going to do cardio. I'm going to do my stuff, man, and get myself ready. I'm going to keep to my diet, and I'm going to be good with that. And then after I beat Jimmy, I'm going to go have a nice old cheat meal at the Varsity.
I think you should make Corey buy.
I'll make you a deal, David.
Totally buy my meal at Varsity.
David, I'll make you a deal, okay?
Sure.
If you beat Jimmy Rave,
here we go.
If you beat Jimmy Rave, I will buy you anything on that menu at the Varsity, okay?
Okay, David, before you answer that, let me go ahead and intervene on this one, because I remember a couple of months ago, Corey made a wager with Murder One of the hierarchy that he has still yet to pay off on, and that was simply, and by the way, for the record, he makes a reference to Jimmy Rave's goons. Dude, I think he's leading you down the wrong path. Be careful, because I happen to know that Corey is also, even though he lost the bet to Murder One, SmarkRage is a big fan of Murder One, too.
Really? Buddy. Come on, man. Help us out.
Smarky?
Yeah, you gotta get yourself together. Can't be. You gotta pay up. But I mean, hey, whatever deal you want to make, I'm willing to accept it. Either way, I'm probably gonna find myself over at the Varsity afterwards, because I've heard so much about it.
It's
so
a cool place.
I have to make sure it happens and enjoy Atlanta, right?
You'll pop. It's diner food.
Well, local diner food. That's what I gotta get.
I'm just saying, man. Don't ever let Corey sit near you. I mean, especially now that we know that the hierarchy will have it in for him. Just don't let him be at the show.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make sure Corey's not at the show.
No, I want Corey front row so I can kiss him after I have the belt.
There you go.
You're not going to kiss me. I'm not going to let you kiss me again.
Don't pretend like you didn't like it, Corey. Maybe that's what the real secret is. Corey's concerned because he wants you to kiss him again and doesn't want the hierarchy to get to you before. I mean, maybe that's what it is.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. When we were asking Corey what he wanted for Christmas, he said I can't exactly mention what product I want right now, but I'll tell you later.
Ugh.
Hot.
You know, you're doing all this talking. Sunday night at the Quad, Jimmy Rave is going to have you looking up at the lights. And they're going to be counting the 1, 2, 3. And then, if you're lucky, the goons of the hierarchy won't come in and get you.
How you talking mess about the hierarchy, man?
Hey, man.
I would say, last week I was cheering for the hierarchy. I am part of the hierarchy crew now. I smartened up. I'm not cheering for those AW heroes who are a bunch of losers. I'm down with the hierarchy.
Well, I appreciate your opinion, but you, sir, are an idiot.
All right, I need you to isolate that, Eddie. Cut that, and we're gonna just play that whenever he speaks. Thank you.
I'll have that one on ready to go too. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, you have that's a good little soundbite there for you.
It is.
I'm
Hey.
unfollowing all of y'all on Twitter.
Yeah, unfollow yourself, and that way you'll actually know what you're doing. Real quick, what else have you got coming up on the horizon right now in addition to AWE?
Oh, cool. Well, this whole weekend's pretty jam-packed. On Friday, I'm going to be in Brooklyn, where I'm tagging with DJ Hyde against Brian Myers and Kevin Matthews. Brian Myers, formerly known as Kurt Hawkins, and
Right.
Kevin Matthews is actually a formerly under WWE developmental contract, and he wrestled for Deep South. I think it was back in 2007.
Yeah, like 10 years ago. He can't use that anymore. It's been the statute the statute of limitations of being in Deep South was like almost 15 years ago. You can't. I wrestled for Deep South. Everybody wrestled for Deep South. Hell, I got booked for Deep South.
Did you?
No.
But he was under contract.
Big deal. Big deal. That was 10 years ago.
He hasn't been under contract, but he has.
There are plenty of guys out there. So, what do you think about someone like there's plenty of guys that were under developmental contracts who got released and went on to have to do great things. It's still a very good accomplishment to be recognized by the world leader in sports entertainment that you are good enough to be under their salary and be employed by them. Kevin Matthews is a really good wrestler. He's one of the top guys at Pro Wrestling Syndicate in New Jersey, which is also seen on television.
Yep.
But it's New Jersey.
Great guys.
It's New Jersey. Nobody cares about Jersey.
Whoa! You bite your tongue, sir. I'm not even a Jersey guy. But Jersey has some great professional wrestling, including the next day where I will be wrestling for Jersey All-Pro, which is the day before I wrestled Jimmy Rave. So I wrestled for Jersey All-Pro, one of the most prestigious companies in wrestling history, in a best of the light heavyweights scramble match. So it's going to be really, and that show's going to be jam-packed. Main event is Rey Mysterio versus Low-Ki.
I hope Rey Mysterio slaps you in your mouth. You may have to duck down a little bit.
I'm not wrestling Rey Mysterio. I would love to wrestle Rey Mysterio, but
Corey doesn't like Mysterio.
Phenomenal.
I'm a racist.
A racist?
Well, yeah, like REYCIST. I don't like Rey Mysterio.
He's actually a real racist. Don't let him fool you. Don't let him snow you.
Like a racist. Not a real racist.
Do me a favor, Corey. I've had enough conversations with some fine folks around Philly, around Jersey, all around that triangle area. I will pay your way to make an appearance. I'll get with DJ Hyde about this. If you will stand in the middle of a combat zone ring, whether it in Voorhees, New Jersey, Flyer Skate Zone, where they have a lot of their shows, and tell the people in that crowd that New Jersey doesn't matter. I want to see what would happen then.
New Jersey doesn't matter. It's the armpit of the damn friggin' country.
Listen,
You know,
I'm not saying I'm the biggest fan of Jersey as a state. I'm just saying
I love
that
the fans
you
up
can't
there.
say they don't have good professional wrestling.
And I love the fans up there. Y'all, look, I got to jump in for a hot second. I've had the privilege of working in a number of different areas. I've had a chance to watch a number of different promotions, courtesy of the work that I do through my station, and because I try to do a lot of homework and a lot of research. And DJ has provided me with a lot of the some great shows. He sent video down to me, and I appreciate fans in the Northeast, just like I appreciate the fans down here in the Southeastern U.S. But I will say this. If you can impress fans in the Northeastern U.S. because they are so brutally honest, if you can get through and get the fans on your side, heel, face, tween, doesn't matter. And I can't believe I just said the word tween without putting the word Taylor Swift or Miley Cyrus, hang me now, in that sentence. Trust me, if you can get them backing you one way or the other, because they are that damn honest. If you suck, they'll tell you.
That's right.
That's why Corey doesn't go up there, because he sucks.
You know what, Eddie? Well, let's work on making that happen.
I've got DJ on speed dial. Would you like for me to go ahead and get him a text message?
I mean,
I'm going to go up north, man. There's a hit squad already waiting for you to cross the state line, much less headed into New Jersey.
you know what? Right now we've got David on the line, and we don't want to take away from him. I don't want to be accused of stealing his product, his shine, as you
No,
would
as a matter
call
of fact, you'd like him to give more of his product, is what I've heard.
Yeah, that's what we've heard.
For Christmas, right?
Well, he's hoping he gets an early Christmas, maybe for Turkey Day, maybe for Thanksgiving.
Do me a favor. Let me steal one more quick moment, if I could. Now, I make a reference to the fans and the brutal honesty that you have with fans in the Northeast. How have the fans been for you down here in the Southeastern U.S.?
How have they been? They've recently I've had more experience with them than I had in the past, but since I've been down there recently, I've been down there a couple times this year. They've been great. I love wrestling in the southeast of the United States. It's been awesome with PWX and with AWE. I've had a great time, and I've had some really good matches with some really good wrestlers. So I look forward to continuing to come down and wrestling new guys and meeting new people and engaging with some more fans. I'm really, really excited and really, really thankful for the opportunities that I've been given already.
What was it that initially drew you into wrestling? I'm sure you get this question all the time, but I mean, you're a young guy. What drew you in?
When I was 5 years old, I watched WrestleMania 12, Shawn versus Brett Iron Man match, which again, that's another reason why the 104-minute match was so special to me. Because a lot of my favorite matches are Iron Man matches. So to be able to be a part of that history, obviously that was WrestleMania. I'm not totally jaded or I'm not totally insane, but it's still guys. It's a select few that have been able to go that 90-minute plus range. Guys like Punk and Hero and Danielson and Samoa Joe. Those guys have done it, and even for one night, my name is now penciled in that category, which they're all some of the best ever, and I'm incredibly proud to be able to say that even if it's just for one thing, I'm in that sentence now, which is pretty cool. But Brett and Shawn is what drew me in, and then after that, I got a bunch of RF videotapes from old school stuff because my stepdad, who got me into wrestling, is the reason I watched wrestling to begin with. We went to the RF video stand that was nearby in Philadelphia and just got a bunch of old school tapes, and I watched all the old NWA, WCCW, AWA. I watched everything. I loved Superstar Billy Graham from WWF, from his run there in his matches with Bruno. I love Dusty and Flair and Magnum TA, and just the Horsemen in general are so fascinating to me. And then growing up in the Attitude Era, I loved watching what was on TV at the time. Both WCW and WWF was great. it was just, how couldn't you be drawn into it? I thought it was just so perfect. And I'm still able to pull myself back and be a fan, which I think is something I'm really, really happy I'm able to do. I get to watch wrestling and still enjoy it without being driving myself too crazy, which I think a lot of guys end up doing. But I'm very, very fortunate, and I'm really, really happy that I'm able to do this. It's something I've wanted to do my whole life. So, yeah, it's awesome. It's just the best.
Sorry, I'm sitting over here thinking about some of that product I'm going to get next week.
Whoa, watch it now.
Whoa,
boy.
Whoa, my mic, I thought my mic was muted.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry.
Well, I can also tell you the other reason I actually started wrestling myself I started wrestling when I was 7, because my parents, or my stepdad and my mom, they recognized I had terrible hand-eye coordination. So, like, I would throw a ball up to myself and totally miss it. So, they figured wrestling was really good for me. I liked wrestling. There's no ball involved in wrestling. I wouldn't have to catch anything. So, so I started wrestling for my youth wrestling program, and then that carried out through college. Got me a scholarship and all that goodness.
I mean, that's kind of the interesting parts of what puts a person into the industry. If it's just from being an athlete, what their first experience was. I mean, I think it's pretty cool that it was Brett and Sean. I don't hear that a lot, at least with the newer guys. But Brett and Sean's match, the 60-minute Ironman, is probably one of my favorites.
It's amazing. It's pretty much flawless, which is unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, I don't know. I don't know. It just captivated me. The pageantry and everything about it was just amazing. And the fact that I think it's weird because that WrestleMania itself wasn't like this super WrestleMania that you'd see now. It wasn't in a stadium. There wasn't like this crazy setup. Granted, Sean did come down from the rafters on the zip line deal, but like it wasn't wild and crazy, especially compared to what what you see now. But like it's just it just drew me in for whatever reason. I was totally captivated by it.
Corey?
So
that stump you?
Stan?
Did that stump you guys?
No, it didn't stump me. I'm just sitting here. I'm literally imagining you being in the ring, getting ready to pin Jimmy Rave.
Oh, I bet you are.
Whoa! It's wrestling. It's not like that. And the big 400-pounder Iceberg comes barreling out from the back.
Oh, is that how you roll?
and costs you the match, and you weep all the way back to the armpit of America, New Jersey.
Oh, please! I'll give you
Well,
$1.
I live in Philadelphia, so
Thank you.
not living in Jersey.
So it's the same shithole.
Hey,
Oh,
Corey.
you watch your mouth. Without Philadelphia, you wouldn't be down there in America.
America. Man, she'll be there Sunday at the show.
And you could drive a bus right through that silence.
The awkwardness of Corey describing, people coming and going to the ring is a little weird.
Yeah.
When he talks about the product, there's a certain amount of sweat involved that kind of gets it, just takes it all to a totally different level.
I feel like Corey just sweats all the time.
Maybe he does. He does. I mean, it takes a lot of effort to be Corey.
No, I don't sweat all the time. I use Mitchum for Men. It's 48-hour protection, and it's the sport kind.
Oh.
If you want,
Oh,
we could share the stick
Oh God.
I would.
I said,
I could tell you
stick
at
with an S.
2,000 things that I would rather do other than share a stick of Mitchum for Men deodorant with you.
And on that note, I will go ahead and say, first off, dude, for me personally over here, Eddie Lane, I've really enjoyed this. How can everybody track you down on social?
Social media, you can follow me on Instagram or on Twitter at The Product DS. Find me on Facebook, just search for David Starr. My fan page is facebook.com/theproductdavidstarr. Email me for stuff if you feel like it. theproductdavidstarr@gmail.com. Check out my website. The website's pretty much brand new. Just got up and running. theproductds.com. That is a direct link to my Pro Wrestling Tees store where you can get some T-shirts and stuff. Which especially for any Atlanta fans, as of right now, I only have 2 T-shirts available. Everything as in on my person that I'll be bringing down at this exact moment. And they're both smalls. So unless you're a size small, I don't know what to tell you. So check out my Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/DavidStarr. I have 4 designs up there. They're all pretty awesome. Designed by Dusty Finish and by Dave Bogart, the famous Pro Wrestling Tees designer. Yeah, dude, you could follow me on all those places. And I'm pretty good at Twitter and social media and stuff, so I'm fun to follow.
Not really.
Corey.
I'm great at social media, and SmartRage loves my social media page.
And do me a favor. Let me cut you off for a second because there was something I meant to bring up earlier. But since Corey's been going off in this direction, I do have to go ahead and make the truth be known. You asked the question earlier if Corey was under contract. If by under contract you mean under a restraining order to stay at least 500 feet away, then that means yes.
There we go. Cool. Now I know. Doesn't surprise me.
No. I'm unfollowing all you assholes on Twitter right now. But you can't unfollow me, David.
That is your weapon. I'm going to unfollow you on Twitter.
Right.
Right. That's what makes you feel better.
You want to know what? A matter of fact, I'm not going to unfollow you
right now.
Sunday after Jimmy Rave and his goons beat you up, I'm going to come to the ring. I'm going to open up my phone. I'm going to make you unfollow yourself.
What?
Whoa.
That's pretty
Not if I unfollow you first.
Okay.
What if I just block you on Twitter?
That's already been done.
I'm going to CM Punk the hell out of you.
Whoa. No,
Pipe bomb.
Actually, whoa. Block me. Whoa. Come on now. You're not Goldust.
Did Goldust block you on Twitter?
No. He's one of my good buddies. It's kind of a joke.
They go fishing.
Where, when people would annoy him, he would retweet him and tell him he was blocked, but he didn't really block him. And I've been blocked by somebody better than you from New Jersey.
Philadelphia, ding dong, get it right.
Hell, the last New Jersey guy blocked me. Claims he has a broken neck.
Oh, jeez. Let me just plug one more thing real quick. Or 2 more things, actually. I just realized I should definitely say both these for 2 companies that I work for. They both have come up with subscription packages so you can see all of their footage, similar to how the WWE has WWE Network. CZW has CZWstudios.com. That's $10 a month or $9.99. And it has all of everything CZW, and CZW has a crazy history with an insane amount of great talent in their video library. And the other one would be Beyond Wrestling. YouTube.com/Beyond Demand, but that's all like one word, so BEYONDEMAND. Again, Beyond has an incredible library with some of the best professional wrestling there is, only $9.99. That's the only way you can see raw footage from Beyond shows, and everyone always ends up buzzing about every Beyond show, saying it's the best one they've ever had. And they have Tournament for Tomorrow 4 coming up in a couple weeks, and it's always awesome. So CZWstudios.com, YouTube.com/Beyond Demand. 2 great subscription services, ways to help support independent professional wrestling. So almost forgot to say those things, but it definitely needed to be said because there's people that need to have awareness of these and support wrestling.
Oh, I'll be there next week supporting the hierarchy and watching you get your face smashed in with a boot.
You are the worst.
Not as bad as you are.
And let me do this real quick. You brought up
If
Beyond.
I was so bad, I wouldn't be getting brought down to Atlanta from Philadelphia, the greatest city on earth, to perform professionally, and then going all over the world to do the same thing. So I don't think that I'm necessarily the worst. I think I'm pretty good at what I do. I also, again, just wrestled 104 minutes, which not many people can say they did that ever, especially in recorded video evidence. One-on-one singles match. Look it up. But it is, I love hearing your voice though, Corey. It makes me so happy. Like I'm just gonna give you a big old smooch when I see you.
Oh, he's so hoping you do.
Let me steal this moment real quick. You brought up Beyond. I want to remind everybody, tomorrow night, November the 9th, Beyond Wrestling presents Raw Alternative one more time, featuring matches from Attack, Empress, Fight Club, IPW, Progress Wrestling, Southside Wrestling, Title Wrestling, and Westside Extreme. Tessa Young, how you doing, my friend? Long time no talk to. Tomorrow night on Beyond Wrestling's YouTube channel, wrestling fans all around the world, I want you to check this out. It is going to be a great outing, a great best of series from and a great opportunity to get turned on to some brand new promotions that you may never have heard of before. Tomorrow night, YouTube, Beyond Wrestling, Raw Alternative, be there.
That's right, and I believe that's free.
It is. It is.
Pretty sure that's a free stream. That's on YouTube.com/Beyond Wrestling.
That is affirmative.
The alternative things have always gone really, really well, and you're going to see some of the best wrestling. It's not like these companies that volunteer their matches. It's not like they give you their B matches.
Right.
They give you the best matches they have, and it's going to be awesome. If you love professional wrestling, you're going to love alternative. So definitely tune into that tomorrow night.
Here's a real quick rundown. Attack Pro Wrestling featuring Mark Andrews and Pete Dunne. Empress Pro Wrestling, Kaylee Ray versus Addie Starr versus Chardonnay. Fight Club Pro, the Hunter Brothers, Lee and Jim Hunter versus the Wolves, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. IPW UK, Jimmy Havoc taking on Sammy Smooth. Preston City Wrestling, very familiar. Dave Mastiff taking on Adam Cole, baby. Sorry, Ring of Honor fan too. What the hell? I'd love to work with. I'd love to work with him. Progress Wrestling, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tommaso Ciampa. Hello, how you doing? Good to see you. The Sicilian Psychopath. Southside Wrestling presents Will Ospreay versus Mr. ROH Roderick Strong. Title Wrestling, TIDAL, presents El Ligero versus Rich Swann. There's you another superstar matchup. And West Side Extreme presents Big Daddy Walter, Hot and Spicy, Axel Dieter, and DeMac versus Cerebrus, which is a combination of, oh boy, Robert Dreisker. There you go. There's no L in there, Eddie. Read closely. Julian Nero, Ija Dragunov with Adam Pollock. That's tomorrow. That lineup is great.
Well, yeah, that's going to be incredible.
Corey, Stan?
Definitely sound like you guys have a lot of action going on all at the same time. It's a lot to take in. I tell you what, it's good to hear about alternatives and make it available for the general public because everybody complains about it, but they don't take the effort to go find it and track it down. So I think it's important to be able to support as much of it as you possibly can.
Amen.
Absolutely.
I'm a big athletic supporter.
Yeah, I bet you are. Hold a cup. So, David, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. This has really been awesome. We need to get you back in after. We need to get you back in after your match with Jimmy Rave to find out how you combated, if you had to combat the hierarchy.
Yeah, sure thing. Definitely. I'd love to come back on and we could talk more about wrestling and more about AWE and more about everything else going on. I am going to be touring Europe for the first time in my career in January, so maybe sometime closer to that, or maybe when I get back in March, we can do something. We could talk about that. There's a lot of good stuff that's going to be happening for me, man. I'm really excited.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We've got everybody set up for the social media to track you down. And again, good luck against Jimmy Rave.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate having me on. I'll see you Sunday, Corey.
You're going to need it, and I'll see you. And you better bring some money because I eat a lot, and you're taking me to the varsity.
I didn't agree to anything of the sort.
Typical.
Corey, Stan, shameless plugs. We're at the top of the
Typical.
hour.
You know what, folks? You know who I am. You know where to find me. If you're listening and you haven't bought your ticket next week for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, got the Juice, JT Dunn, Kimberly, The Product, David Starr, Sugar Dunkerton, Jimmy Rave, and all the stars of Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment will be there. 714 Spring Street Northwest, The Quad. Tickets are $25 at the door. $25? $15? It's 15 or 25. I'm not sure.
Man, get your information right. This is in your backyard, and you don't even know.
Really.
Well, the thing is, I bought the season pass.
What are you doing with yourself?
Wouldn't you like to know?
And no, I don't want to know.
The product already knows.
Stan, shameless plugs.
Oh, let's see here. Hey, if you get an opportunity, check out my first attempt at a solo run. First real attempt at a solo run. Put together a 30-minute, soundbite almost. Just really not a long time, not a lot of time to tie up for you. 30 minutes called Corner to Corner. Should be debuting any time now. I know that we're trying to get the audio picked up, and I'm working on that as well. I'm kind of learning as I go. But just a little bit of a little bit of talking about what we love the most in pro wrestling. No changes, Corey. Don't panic. No changes. Not going away from WrestleRage.
Damn it!
Not yet, anyway.
A girl could dream, can't she?
Well, yes, a girl can dream, but you can just keep on being stuck. But anyway, folks, be sure to check out SmartRage on Twitter at SmartRage. Really, he needs your follows. He really
I do.
Does. He does.
I do. I've only got 4,000 of them.
Right, he needs 4,000 more. Please make sure that you're over 18, though, because he got in trouble last time.
Yeah, no kidding.
Exactly. Hey, listen, I didn't eat the evidence, so they never could convict me.
Well, that's nasty. Anyway, at Fight Grub Fight on Twitter for me.
Well, hang on a second. You told me the fight was over, and you're changing your name back.
Nah, I think I'll change it to something else eventually, but we're going to leave it at Fight Grub Fight for a while. Who knows? Maybe Kevin Owens wins at Survivor Series, and I keep it there just in honor of Kevin Owens kicking butt.
Okay.
Of course, WrestleRage BR for the show account. We are on Facebook, and that's kind of. Oh yeah, you can follow Corey on Facebook at the SmartRage.
Allow me one quick second, folks. Live programming will resume on Tuesday, on November the 10th at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 p.m. Central Time with Back to Basics, the 10 Count going live. Wednesday night, the 11th, the To Be Determined show starring the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, and the Beyond Ringside Shooters Gallery comes right back into play this Saturday the 14th at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. For those listening live, we are 1 minute after 11 on the East Coast. 1 after 10 Central Time Zone, 1 after 8 on the West Coast. The brand new edition of the Midnight Black Mass will be coming up in just a minute. Gentlemen, take us home.
Folks, remember, you can be a fan of wrestling, you can be a fan of the product, but don't be a fan of the product in wrestling, or else you'll get kissed if you're sitting in the front row. Well, Corey likes that.
You're supposed to be my friend.
And with that, we will see you next Sunday. Corey, was it on the lips?
Eddie, cut the mic.
There wasn't tongue involved, was there?
Say the
Cut
phrase.
the mic, Eddie.
Awkward.
Feel
Say the phrase.
Feel the rage. Feel the rage.
That's just say feel the rage.